Okay, folks, so I'm going to redo one of my most popular videos from a few years ago. I'm going to talk about metal detecting equipment. What is a necessity? What's a nice to have? As you can see right now, I really don't have much. I'm detecting without headphones. I have a speaker on my detector. I have my gloves. I have a hat, sunglasses. I do have a fines pouch, and I have a small digging tool along with my pinpointer. Okay? And while that may seem like a lot, there are several other items that you might want to consider depending upon the day, the terrain, what you're hunting for, and so on. So if you're like me and you like to talk about metal detecting equipment, stick around. All right, first of all, a disclaimer. What I'm not going to do on this video, I'm really not intending to recommend one brand of an item over another. I may point out some of my favorites, but instead, I want to give you a feel for the types of things that you might want to pick up if you are new to metal detecting, you're just getting into it, or if you're like me, as I said, you're kind of a metal detecting gearhead. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about the detectors. I think some of the main things that you want to consider in a detector, first of all, is it a single or a multi-frequency machine? If it's a single frequency machine, is it selectable frequency? Can you adjust from one frequency to another? I think that's one of the most important criteria, along with, for me, ergonomics and weight. As many of you know, I swing an XP DS2. That's my go-to machine. I love it for a couple of reasons. It's literally the lightest machine on the market, but it's also collapsible. It has a telescopic shaft, which I find very nice, especially if you're traveling. And if you notice, there's no cable. It's wireless. So some of the other detectors, they do have a cable that hooks the control unit to the actual coil. So let's take a look at this. This is my Equinox 800, great machine. If you notice, I'm not using the stock shaft. Why is that? The stock shaft that comes with the Equinox, I believe, comes in two sections. For me, it wasn't very packable, but it was not collapsible. So that caused me to look at a couple different solutions for this particular machine. On here right now, you'll see something from Steve's shafts. It's carbon fiber. It has counterbalance on this end. I like that. Also, be aware of whether or not the machine offers alternative coil selections, alternative coil sizes. I'm going to show you a couple of the coils, for example, that currently come with the XP Deus 2. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the XP Deus 2 WS6 Master configuration. This is actually even lighter than the XP Deus 2 with the rectangular control unit. But what I want to show you are the coil options that come with the Deus 2. What I have in this particular shaft right now is a 9-inch coil. So this is helpful if you're in an area where you need a little bit more agility, maybe a cornfield, a park, that type of thing. So the smaller coil is, to me, a nice feature to have. The Deus 2 also ships with a larger round coil. What you have right here is I believe this is the 11-inch coil, right? So slightly larger coil size. And then I have here somewhere, it's on the table, and then this is an elliptical coil, an 11 by 13 inch elliptical coil. So in this particular instance, a larger coil will give you a little bit more coverage, slightly more depth, but it's nice to have those options to consider. So those are some of the main things. Some secondary things, less important to me, but things you might want to consider. Some of the machines have an integrated LED light. I'm going to go ahead and ask my camera person to take a look here at the MindLab Xterra. So this has an integrated LED light on the back. Of course, all the machines I've shown you so far have an integrated speaker, and some even include a vibrating handle, a handle that will vibrate when you move your coil over a identifiable target. For the detectors, think about the features that are more important to you: single, multi-frequency. Do you want to have something that's on the lighter, more portable side? Okay, now the next thing I just want to talk about are these protectors, these covers for the control units of the detectors. These are available from a variety of third-party providers, and you may wonder, why do I need this if indeed many of these control units of these detectors are waterproof? Well, there's a couple reasons. One is that they help prevent your detector from being scratched. And I also think they make the cleanup of your control unit that much easier to complete. So consider these as well for your detector. Next up is a new item. I've not even unboxed it yet, but stay tuned. I will have an unboxing video, but depending on where you're detecting, sometimes on certain detecting trips, you may be out in the field all day. And the detectors, many of them come with rechargeable batteries. Some come with batteries, traditional batteries, AAA, AA type batteries. All of my detectors use rechargeable lithium batteries. And sometimes, depending upon the frequencies that I'm using, I may, by the end of the day, I may find that I'm starting to run out of power. So this is nice to have for those long hunts. You can stop at lunchtime, recharge your detector. This happens to be a solar power bank that also includes a magnetic charger for my phone top as well. So just consider for those long hunts a power bank to charge your detector. I also find it very helpful to carry a backpack with me. Again, depending upon the type of hunt, the type of location. This is called the Stowaway. It's from LL Bean. It's very compact. I like this for smaller hunts, but helps me carry a water bottle, some bug spray, maybe some extra gloves, some lunch, variety of smaller things. When I'm detecting for a whole day, in fact, on my European trips, I will take my XP 240 backpack. This is one of two backpacks offered by XP. This is the smaller one. I actually use this as part of my carry-on luggage, and in it I place all the things I can't check into my baggage, things the TSA will not allow me to check in. Anything with a lithium battery, my control units, my coils, one shaft, that kind of a thing. So again, also pretty compact. I like the fact that it has a couple of different compartments inside and out. The XP240 backpack. Okay, I would put this in the nice to have category, but again, on some of those long hunts where you're detecting some area that's very expansive, these two-way radios are very helpful. I have a set of 4 of these. These are just nice to communicate with your other detectorists, to help share a positive note, find, to call people in for lunch, that type of thing. If you do travel abroad, be aware of that local country's requirements with regard to what frequencies they do and do not allow in terms of two-way radios. All right, another thing you're going to see me use all the time are these. Yep, they look like sunglasses, and indeed they're a pair of sunglasses, but they also have integrated bifocals. For those of you who are like me, a little older, and your nearsighted vision's going, we do like to look at our finds. So rather than constantly pulling my reading glasses out of my pockets or reaching for my loupe, I like to have a pair of sunglasses with integrated bifocals. So I'm going to put these on right now because the sun's coming up. Next, we're going to talk about digging tools. I have a whole separate video on digging tools, so I'm only going to go over some basics right here, but some things to consider. First of all, be aware of where you can and cannot use a shovel. Many local parks prohibit the use of any type of long digging tool, shovel, and only permit either a probe or a small handheld digging tool. Be aware of the fact that there are different types of shovels, and some of the key things to think about here for me are weight, number one. Also, is the shovel collapsible? You're going to see here I have several shovels from a company called Excalibur that I think make a wonderful shovel in terms of its weight, its durability, but also it breaks down into 2 pieces. So when I'm traveling, this will fit in my check bag. but also be aware of the fact that it's highly individualistic in terms of what type of handle people prefer. This is a T handle. I have people I hunt with that really like the D handles, and there's even some that have a ball handle. So that is something to also consider. So weight, durability, hand type, is it collapsible, okay? But also the length. Some of these, for example, Excalibur will customize the shovel length to suit you. There are some shovels on the market that are even smaller, and some people will actually purchase a device that allows them to hang this on their belt, and this is what they prefer to dig with. This is a shovel called Little Digger. It fits in my baggage as well, so prior to my purchasing a collapsible shovel from Excalibur, this is what I placed inside my checked baggage. The only other thing I want to point out is that you want to consider the type of spade. So when I'm hunting in a field, especially a field that's plowed, I prefer to have a wider spade because quite frankly, I'm scooping more than I'm digging. I'm scooping out dirt more than I am digging. So a wider rounded blade is my preference in that case. And then lastly, as you explore digging tools, you'll see a lot of reviews on handheld digging tools. I've had a variety of these over the years. I prefer the ML Tool Hori Hori knife. If you're not familiar with Hori Hori knives, these are actually Japanese gardening tools serrated on one end, but you'll see me normally carry this in my finder's pouch. I prefer this for a variety of reasons. It's light, it gets the job done, but it also doubles as a tool I can use to scrape mud off of my boots. Now, your metal detector will come with a cable to charge or recharge your control unit, your coil, depending upon the manufacturer. I strongly suggest, though, for anything that requires a charge, purchase a backup charging cable. Whether this be for your control unit, your coil, or your pinpointer. I've been on hunts with individuals who have either lost their charging cable, it's broken, and it can ruin a hunt. So consider a backup. Another thing that you will always see me wear is a hat. This serves an obvious purpose to keep the sun out of my eyes and so on. But in those cold detecting months, right, I'll switch to a beanie cap of some type, and many detectorists will often, wear the cap of their favorite detectors or even of their type of channel. But depending upon your headphones, right, your headphones might limit the type of hat that you wear. So rather than a broad brimmed hat, because many of the headphones are over the ear, this is why many of us wear either ball caps or toboggan or winter beanie cap. All right, so you might see a few books here. What are these about? Well, you just invested hundreds, maybe even over $1,000 in your metal detector. You may want to also check to see if there is some supplemental instruction books available. Andy Sabish has wonderful books on a variety of metal detectors. If you're not familiar with his books, definitely check those out. I also produce what are called metal detecting display books. I'll pop up a link to another video I did on those, but these are very helpful in a variety of ways. They help me secure permissions, share my finds with my family and friends, and it's just a fun way to look back on the season there. So again, depending upon the terrain, the length of hunt, a few things you're going to want to consider. You might be okay in tennis shoes, hiking shoes. I find that depending on where I am, though, if I'm on the beach, it's nice to have a pair of sand shoes or beach slippers to protect my feet from the sharp objects in the water. I have, and many times I'll just use a pair of regular boots, but especially on those rainy, muddy days, I prefer a pair of boots. These are from the Muck Boot Company, and these are wonderful. They're waterproof. I actually saw another detectorist wear these on a video and decided to purchase them and absolutely love them. All right, I should have mentioned this when I was talking about the detector. One other thing to think about as you pick a detector is what type, if any, headphone does it support. So many of those detectors, as I said, come with a speaker built in, but you'll find that using a pair of headphones provides a much richer sound. So you have a much better opportunity of hearing those faint whispers. And there are a variety of headphones available. Some are wired, some are wireless, okay? And I prefer the wireless, but you might wonder, why would I ever wear a pair, why would I ever use a pair of wired headphones? Well, if you're detecting in the water, the type of technology that wireless headphones use, a Bluetooth type of technology, it won't transmit in and out of water, through the water. So you need some type of solution like a wired headphone. These happen to be from Tony Eisenhower. I also enjoy from XP my bone conduction headphones. If you're not familiar with bone conductive headphones, they're really fascinating. I'm going to put these on and show you what they look like. And they sound great, they work great as well, but they also have a cable and they allow you to detect in and under the water. All right, so you can see here, I have these on, but take a look here. They're not over my ear. In fact, you do not want to do that. You would damage your eardrums. These rather rest on my temple right here, and it's literally the vibration through my skin and to my bone that allows me to hear these. These sound just as good, if not better, than normal headphones. These are from XP. These are called bone conductive headphones. I believe they're proprietary, and they do only work with the XP platform. All right, another thing I find very, very helpful, I call it a digging cloth. This happens to have been made by Mrs. History Digger, Amy, and you can see that it folds out, but I love this because it's kind of like a denim type of material. I use this for a variety of reasons. If I'm detecting an area where it's actually a well manicured lawn, I'm trying to really minimize any type of damage, I will put my spoils pile on here. Helps me keep any loose dirt contained, and I can easily pour it back into the hole. But also, if I'm detecting on a plowed field and I find something very small, I place my spoils pile, my dirt on here, and I'll go in with my pinpointer, and it helps me um, not lose the item back down into a crevice or a hole. So I love these. You know, again, I've used a few different types of these. You can just use a simple cloth as well, but I absolutely love my digging cloth. So I highly recommend you having something to put your finds in, the targets that you recover. Some people will use an old Sucrets box, a very, very small tackle box. I have two of these that I use. This is called the Ultimate Finds box that allows me to, store my different finds as well. And so I'm not searching them. I have found items only to lose them, within minutes after finding them. This is the Ultimate Finds box. There's some other solutions out there as well. This happens to be called the Coin Pad, and it's deep. It allows you to put coins inside here, inside this sponge that of course you would moisten, and it just helps delay or prevent oxidation from occurring on those coins that you find. I like this, but in some ways I like my Ultimate Finds box better because it accommodates different shapes other than just a coin. Oh my gosh, and I could do a whole series of videos on how to display your finds. In addition to my metal detecting display book, I have some very nice wooden displays as well. You'll see people do some creative things in terms of how they display their finds, but something very, very nice, and it's very affordable. Take a look at the Riker cases from the Sergeant Riker Display Case Company. These come in a variety of sizes. They allow you to quickly display and contain and secure your finds so that you can share them with your friends and family. Also, depending upon the time of year and the location, I sometimes will use a pair of knee pads. You can find these in hardware stores. You can order these online. They have Velcro straps, but depending upon the type of location and the time of year, if I'm metal detecting in a field that has plowed corn stalks or a plowed cotton field, also they're extremely helpful when the field's muddy. They help, keep your clothes dry and avoid you from getting too muddy. So consider a pair of knee pads. All right, as we move down the line here, I just want to point out what I think is a must-have item, and I'm talking about a pair of gloves. Now, again, highly personable. These are all over the place in terms of the type, sizes, cost. I actually prefer, when I can find them, the ones from Carhartt. When I do find them, I buy several pairs of them because I normally go through a few pairs a season, but I like the fact that these actually do not have any type of Velcro strap at the front. And for me, I'm looking for a glove that threads the needle between agility. It allows me to pick small things up, okay, but also keeps my hands safe from any, surprisingly sharp, rough items, that kind of a thing. But I highly encourage you to metal detect with a pair of gloves that suits your needs. All right, what are these items right here? Well, if you do any kind of beach detecting, you're going to probably want to consider some type of scoop, some type of beach scoop. Now, there are a variety of these as well. Some are a little smaller. This one actually also includes a probe that you can use if you want to do what's called coin popping, that type of thing. As you review these, take into consideration the size of the holes, the actual size of the scoop. Is this something you're going to want to hold by your hand? Sometimes when I'm traveling, that's what I will take with me. What I prefer to take, though, is my CKG beach scoop. And just like my shovel, it's important that this also has a collapsible shaft. I also purchased a Motus handle, M-O-T-U-S handle, that allows me to lift this up when I, scoop out my spoil pile. But you'll see a variety of manufacturers on the market that make these, okay? They're all fairly heavy. They do vary in terms of the type of material. Some are stainless steel, some are titanium, some have bigger, some have smaller holes. But not only, do I recommend a beach scoop, but when you're actually traveling with it, I will take a bag like this so that when I go back to my vehicle and, I will attempt to clean this off, but despite my best efforts, there's normally often sand on there. So I will actually place it inside the bag, right, and put it back into my vehicle to avoid the wrath of Mrs. History Digger. Okay, for many, many years, detectorists did not use what's called a pinpointer. But let me tell you, once you use a pinpointer, it'll be hard to go back. But just know that you can use your hand in front of the coil, just scoop out a handful of dirt and rub your hand in front of the coil to find out if indeed the target's in your hand. But a pinpointer will help you find that target much more quickly. I have several pinpointers. A few of these operate off of traditional batteries. The others are rechargeable. And I recently purchased two of these. A very affordable, nice pinpointer is the MT6 Pro from Dr. Otek. I would consider it, however, more of an entry-level pinpointer, but it's very well priced and it actually works quite well. My go-to pinpointer is my MI6 pinpointer from XP because it integrates with my detector. When I turn my pinpointer on, it actually silences, turns off my detector to some degree. So I can hear it through my headphones. It's integrated. It's very nice. They also have a very nice pinpointer that it's very similar called the MI4. Does everything the MI6 does except it doesn't integrate with your detector. It just operates as a standalone pinpointer. There's also some nice ones I've purchased over the years. And in fact, this is actually the same company here. So Technetics and Fisher a while ago either merged or one bought the other. I don't know which. But this is actually the same. The Technetics one is called the Tech Point. It's the green one. And the Fisher version is called the F-Pulse. This is what's called a pulse induction pinpointer. And I've actually found this is probably the deepest of all my pinpointers. It works quite well, and it is programmable, it's customizable. Okay, and it might be just me, and I did mention these are identical other than the color, but I think the color red is my preference because, if you do happen to misplace this, which is going to be more easy to find, to locate? The red. But point is, you have several options here, and all of these, many of these, when they ship, will come with some type of holder. Those holders often have a snap or a Velcro attachment you can either use to attach them to your belt. The one from XP is also very nice because not only will it hold your pinpointer, but it has a rotatable clip on here. So if you don't want to put this just on your belt, you could put it on your backpack strap, a variety of places. I do not use a lanyard with my pinpointer, but many people do. I know many friends that have lost their pinpointers in the field. So again, if it doesn't come with your detector, you may want to think about investing in some type of retractable lanyard to secure your pinpointer. All right, another item that I think is in the must-have column is a finder's pouch. A variety of these on the market. If you've watched any of my earlier videos, you're going to see my go-to finder pouch. It's getting a little worn here. It's the Omega Mill Relic Elite. Okay, and I'll just point out a few things. It does have a few pouches on the exterior, one of which is zippered. It has a holster, a built-in holster for my pinpointer, which I absolutely love. It also has some compartments inside that one fits my hori-hori knife, has a little special area that's netted for my top pocket finds, as Gary Drayton would say, and yet another compartment for some finds, some trash, a cleaning brush, that type of thing as well. So I really like the fact that the bottom is netted, so the dirt from my finds will actually fall out, and it also makes it easier to clean. But there's a variety of these available. I don't take this in the water with me when I'm detecting in the water because, as you can see, it's made largely out of canvas. What I will do is take this nylon bag that's also netted. That's my water bag. This happens to be from a company called Pankey. It's much smaller, but these serve multiple purposes, obviously to contain your finds, but also to help transport trash. You know, the bottle caps, the nails, the rusty pull tabs, that kind of stuff that we find as well. So finder's pouch, must-have item. Okay, a couple of things that I will carry in my finder's pouch is a squirt bottle, especially useful for those silver items. I do carry an extra mud scraper. I think that's very helpful. Depending on where I am, I may carry some coins at the start of the hunt to show my fellow hunters what, how the items, the targets we're looking for might be ringing up that day. Okay, I will carry a hobby card. I have another video about my hobby card, but these are helpful when you meet people who, are interested in the hobby, or that might be helpful in securing a permission. So this has all my contact info on it as well. And then I will carry a cleaning brush or two. This actually happens to be a denture brush, but I found it very useful as well. There are other types of cleaning brushes that also have lanyards, nylon tips, brass tips, and so on. And depending on where I am, I may have a light that secures to my cap, or I have an even smaller LED light that I will take with me as well. So there are some times right around dusk, where you can still hunt and you want to eke out a few extra hours as well. This is a personal preference item for me, but if you watch my videos, you'll often see me wearing some type of bandana. I'll have it folded up like a triangle, and I will wear this around my neck, but it serves a variety of purposes. Number one, just to keep the sun off of my neck. It is nice sometimes on those hot days to take your bandana and put it in the water just to do a quick wash, that type of thing. So these are helpful. They will, sometimes serve the purpose of a really nice find. I've even wrapped them in my bandana if I didn't have my little finder's box with me. And then for a little bit extra luck on those special days, I may feel the need for a little bit more luck. And on those days, I will wear my lucky silver socks. Okay, if you're wondering about these lucky silver socks, these and other items are available on my Teespring store. But these are just some fun items to have and to talk about. I won't spend too much time talking about this, but many of you ask how I film my videos. I do have a separate video on the equipment I use, but I will use both my iPhone as well as my two different GoPro machines. So sometimes I will have one GoPro mounted on top of a selfie stick, a retractable telescopic selfie stick, and I will place that by my hole to get a second shot, that type of thing. I also I have the ability to take this off of my selfie stick and mount it on my chest. So I have two different chest solutions. I use a chest harness, but I also have a magnetic solution I use as well. But the GoPro is a wonderful machine. This happens to be the GoPro Hero Black 7. I have plenty of rechargeable batteries. On those windy days, I wrap this in, I think what they call a dead cat. It's just a sponge to help filter out the wind noise. And you may notice today I'm wearing a remote microphone. So I have a solution here. I'll put a picture up of the box that I purchased, but there's simply a device that goes into the bottom of my iPhone, and this particular solution comes with two portable microphones, and it allows me to communicate from some distance away with no degradation, no loss of vocal ability. So just something fun I use to film my different videos. All right, did I miss anything that you think is a must-have or a nice-to-have item? I'd really love to hear from you. So if you think I did, or if you have a different opinion than what I shared, hey, drop a comment in the section below the video. Would love to hear from you as well. There's a lot of items you can consider. I'm going to share with you a funny meme. There's a meme, I think, of a father giving his son the first detector, and the son, is excited, and he says, "Wow, Dad, can you become a millionaire metal detecting?" And the father says to the son, "Yes, you can, son, if you start out as a billionaire." So do you need all this stuff? Absolutely not. But, I hope this helps you make some informed choices when you're buying and avoid some of the mistakes maybe I made. I appreciate you watching. Good luck digging, and we'll see you on the next video. Okay, Amy, thanks for helping me film. I appreciate it. Now, just got to haul all this stuff back into the garage. I'm hoping you can give me a hand. Amy? Amy? Oh, man. Okay, here we go.